Hello everyone, Broccolite here, and today we're going to be talking about the JACKHAMMER Heat Rework mod that someone made for me. Don't know why, I guess they were just inspired to make it. I had no say in the fact that it was being made and was not warned that it was, but upon finding it on the Thunderstore page, I was very happy. Now I've already recorded this video once, but it didn't record any of my audio because NVIDIA sucks, so I'm going to try to rush through this a little faster than usual. So first of all, what is the mod? It is the Better JACKHAMMER mod. I'm going to put a link to the Thunderstore in the description, and you can find it there. Basically what it does is it takes my suggestion from my previous videos and it puts it into the game with a bunch of other extra options that you can fiddle with to your liking. So for those who don't know what my rework idea was, I'll catch you up to speed. For every hit that you do, your hammer will generate heat according to the color gauge that you hit, right? So green, yellow, or red will generate 25%, 50%, or 100% heat. And upon reaching 100% heat, your hammer will go on cooldown. Now, the hammer will be cooling over time in between your hits and while you're using other weapons, which means that you are incentivized to put the hammer away or force yourself to go on cooldowns the more you use it, right? So with that out of the way, let's go over what these settings actually do. So we have the cooling settings, seconds until full passive cooling, right? So what does this mean? This means if you go from basically 99% heat down to 0, it will take 8 seconds to do that, right? So that basically means that it's roughly 12% cooling per second. And these are the default settings, by the way. And then there's shotgun shot cooling. Basically, I suggested this idea that if you would shoot with the shotgun, it would reduce the heat that you have on the JACKHAMMER because the shotgun shoots condensed heat and it has a cooling animation when it finishes shooting. So it'd be cool if it tied in with the JACKHAMMER and it actually incentivized you to use a shotgun and a JACKHAMMER, you know, either or in whatever order. So this number is basically a decimal. Some numbers that are decimals in this mod, these are just percentages, right? So this is really just saying 12.5%. So every time you would shoot with the shotgun, it would reduce the heat on the hammers by 12.5%. Before I go into this next part, I would like to show you how the heat is displayed to the player through this mod. So starting off, if you see the little dial in the center, when the hammer is at 0 heat, the little dial will actually work as intended, right? So if I go red, it goes red. If I go yellow, it goes yellow. Green, it goes green, right? Etc. But if I were to land some hits, right, you'll see the dial turns into sort of a heat display. So if I land 2 hits, right, you'll see that it goes all the way almost up to 100% heat because it is passively cooling in between hits, and so 2 yellow hits being each 50% will not take you to full heat, which basically creates a 3-hit limiter. So if I were to do, right, a little bit of generous yellow hit spam, it would put the hammer on cooldown, right? So what does this setting mean? Heat left after overheat. So basically if I overheat the hammer, it will set the heat of other hammers to 50% with this setting, right? So if I do this, I swap to my next hammer, you'll see that the heat is set to 50% and it slowly starts to cool down from that point. So if I put a hammer on cooldown and I swap over to the next hammers, then the heat punishment will slowly start to become more punishing because I'm chaining hammers into one another. This is to punish things like triple hammer. So you would basically get 2 yellow hits, 1 red hit, then 1 yellow, 1 red, 1 yellow, 1 red with an optimized hit pattern. But you can avoid all of this entirely by swapping off the hammer, right? And letting it cool for a little bit. Next we have the heat settings, which are the actual numbers when it comes to heat. So first of all, we have the actual indicate heat level. This is just to tell you, like, you know, hey, you know, these little parts in your hammer are telling you that you have this much heat. And then there's heat capacity, which is if you put the hammer on cooldown, that is how long it will go. So the OG is 7. Pre-patch, if I were to land a hammer hit and put it on cooldown with a 3-hit limiter or with a red hit, it would put it on cooldown for 7 seconds, but the default settings for this mod make the cooldown 8 seconds instead. Then next we have pump charge heat, which basically means that if you add pumps to your JACKHAMMER, it will add more heat to the hit, right? So as you can see, the heat put it really high up. That's because for each pump, I'm adding 12% heat to the hammer. So yellow hit is 50%, and then 3 times 12, that's basically around 86% heat. So I personally don't like this setting, but it's there for those who want to experiment. Then there's hit scan conversion, which is basically just if you were to transform a core or a rocket into a hit scan, it would slowly gain a little bit of heat. This is mainly to counter double hammer boosts, right? By adding heat. Right? You get the idea. Slowly the hammer will start to gain heat, and with enough excessive spam, you'll put the hammer on cooldown. Then next we obviously have the green hits, which gives you 25%, yellow hits give you 50%, red hits give you 100%. So yeah, really big reminder, any decimal that you see, or usually anything that says 1, this means this is a percentage, right? So try to remember that when you're using this mod. Next we have the damage settings. So, you know, green hits dealing 3 damage, yellow hits dealing 6, and red hits, though they normally deal 10, on default they deal 12 instead, because the cooldown is extended from 7 seconds to 8. So you can tinker with these numbers if you want to. Then next we have pump damage settings. The default settings normally set the first pump down to 1.5 damage, which is up from 3.5 because of yellow hit spam, usually factoring in a free hit stop pump to get free additional damage, right? So basically, if I pump during hit stop like that, I would be able to add 3.5 damage to it, but with the default settings here, I'm instead adding 1.5 so that yellow hit spam in its easiest form is better countered. It also gives more identity to the yellow hit, the second pump, by having it deal 3.5 damage, because stuff like, for instance, the Virtue one-shot that I made is impacted by this change, right? You can't really one-shot the Virtue anymore that way, but if you were to do a yellow hit instead, you could do the one-shot with the yellow hit. And then overpumps are obviously unchanged, dealing 7 damage. And finally, we have sound settings, and this is to depict the fact that, and that's to edit the fact that whenever you do a hit, the pitch of the hammer will actually go up after each hit. So if you listen there, you will hear that after each hit, the pitch of the hammer hit is going up to tell me how much heat my hammer has had, so that I don't have to look at the dial to tell. Additionally, the little rotary thing that I'm pointing to right now, that will also tell you how much heat you're at by spinning faster or slower, right? So over time, you'll see that it's spinning really fast, and then it will slowly start to slow down to show you how much heat you have. So yeah, that's pretty much all the settings. Now I'm going to cover all of the presets that I have for you guys that I would like you to try out. You can try out any number of these. I'm going to have a Google form in the description of the video for you guys to submit your opinions there through using these presets. The first one is the Alt-Nerf. This is basically my recreation of the current nerf for the jackhammer, but using the heat system, right? So seconds until full passive cooling. This is basically to say, like, you know, 3 seconds and 3 seconds added together being 6. Generally speaking, this is sort of the cooling rate. No shotgun interaction, and then heat left after overheat being 1 or 100%. Because in vanilla, if you were to land a red hit, right, or a 3 hit, you would have your next hammer also go on cooldown shortly after if you used it within 3 seconds. Then there are the heat settings, right? Indicate heat level is always on. Heat capacity could be 7, right? That's the cooldown for when you hit a red hit or use the 3-hit limiter. Pump charge heat is non-factor, and then all of these are just here to emulate sort of the feel of the 3-hit limiter. The damage is the same, and the pump damage is the same. And the sound settings you can modulate however you want. Feel free to take these presets and, you know, change them around a little bit, but this is basically as close to the current nerf as I could get using a heat system without changing anything or reworking anything. Then we have my personal rework suggestion, which makes the cooling a little bit slower, right? Up to 10 seconds of full cooling, which is basically 10% cooling per second. But also the shotgun shot will cool down the hammer a little bit whenever you shoot with it, right? So if I do a couple of hits, shooting with a shotgun will reduce the heat, so that I can alternate between shotguns and jackhammers to get value from each of them, while your shotguns enable you to use your jackhammers more frequently. Now, as a small disclaimer, if your jackhammer is overheated or on cooldown, The shotgun will not reduce the cooldown or accelerate the rate at all. Then next, I have the heat left after overheat at 50%. Because personally, I do think that it would be excessive if you could set the heat down to 0 after every hit. So instead, 50% is good to make sure that you're not spamming super duper much. But it still gives you the freedom to do some cool tech. The heat settings, mostly standard. Heat capacity will be set to 8 seconds for a reason that I will explain in a sec. The heat capacity will be set to 8 seconds and the pump charge heat will not be used, specifically to enable a 12 damage red gauge hit. I would like to see 12 damage red gauge hits come back personally. I think if we extend the cooldown a little bit, it will make it so that you're punished for throwing out red hits more recklessly, considering how long it takes to actually draw out the hammer in the first place, being the longest weapon to draw. And then finally, we have the pump damage settings. I personally would prefer to see the first pump be 1.5 damage instead of having pumps add to heat or anything like that. So that is my idea. And then we have a damage rework, which is mostly the same as the original, except heat left after overheat is at 0, specifically to accommodate for damage reduction. For some reason, the number one number that I saw tossed around for a yellow gauge damage nerf was 5. So I've created a little bit of a damage setting here that would decrease the damage that you normally do. And you know, I made the green gauge deal 2.5, so it's like 5 is double of that and 10 is double of 5. And then for the pumps as well, I made the damage 2, 4, and 6, so it's, you know, double of 2 and triple of 2. But yeah, this one is probably the least fun one, but, you know, at least speaking in terms of the rework, but you can definitely try it out and see if this would be a more serviceable nerf to the hammer. Then finally, we have the pure heat rework, which is basically just using all of the heat functions of this mod in one. So we have, you know, the cooling at base, we have the heat left after overheat at 50%, and then we also have the shotgun cooling, and the pump charge will add to the heat. And then one final part that I'm deciding to touch upon in this specific preset is the hit scan conversion. Someone suggested a while back that maybe since double hammer boost can be a bit oppressive, you increase the hit scan conversion rate a little bit, so that after roughly a couple double hammer boosts, the cooldown will start to set in. So if you want to try this out and maybe you're looking to balance specifically double hammer boosts, this is probably where you're going to find that. But other than that, everything is just vanilla. So yeah, feel free to try out this one too. Like I said, there's going to be a forum in the description. Access the forum after you have tried out some things. I would suggest trying out Cybergrind, trying out the bosses and mini bosses of the campaign, and then also trying out really difficult levels like the Encores or P2. I would specifically ask that you guys use 2 or 3 hammer loadouts, though it would be okay if you use only 1 hammer in your loadout. And I would specifically ask that you guys play on Violent or Brutal, though Standard would be fine to include. Speaking of Cybergrind, if you use this mod in the Cybergrind and you get a new personal record, it won't change your personal record to be the new number. So don't worry about going beyond your previous performances on vanilla using this mod. Other than that, if you guys find any bugs related to this mod, feel free to type it in the description. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see maybe from this mod. Additionally, I am in contact with the mod creator, so yeah, definitely check it out. I'm willing to be criticized, you know, hear everything you guys like or don't like about the mod. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and share this with your friends if they play ULTRAKILL. Goodbye.